So, how do we take care of ourselves when we're in the middle of deeply grieving? Hi, I'm Amy, and tonight's live about 5 to wrap up our week about grief. Although tomorrow we're going to be talking about children in grief, is how do you take care of yourself? My guess is that it's your instinct to take care of everybody else. In fact, you probably took care of everybody that led to the loss that you're mourning now and that you're grieving now. Maybe you're someone who didn't have a choice in the situation and you're grieving that. But either way, it's really important to set up now good self care practices. So, one of the things we've talked a lot about is in the depths of your grief is not the time to seek out friendships that might be supportive or to set up self care routines that might be helpful. You've got to do those things now. So when that awful phone call comes and your hands are sweating and you can't breathe and you can't even think, you've already got these systems in place. So this isn't about something bad happened to me. What do I do? This is about I know life is going to throw me some curveballs. And I love people deeply. And so I know I'm going to grieve people deeply. So I'm creating really strong connections and routines now so that that doesn't take me out. Because let's be honest, grief can take you out. At least it'll take you out of the game for the first and second quarter, right? It can really undermine you at work, at home, in your joy, in your health, in your happiness. And while grief is always going to be hard, there are things that we can do to navigate it better, right? There's always good, better, and best. Well, let's go for good, right? So, the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight is mindful meditation. There are a lot of different ways that you can meditate, but meditation has been scientifically proven to help decrease our blood pressure, decrease our stress levels, address anxiety, increase focus and concentration. Meditation can be a game changer, and a lot of the world has known this for quite a long time. Some of us are just coming to it, but you could maybe you don't need to go all the way to transcendental meditation and get some certification, but goodness gracious, YouTube is full of great suggestions, right? The thing with meditation that I want to encourage you about is, especially in the beginning, it just to me felt impossible, right? You can tell I'm very verbal. My mind is always going a million miles a minute. And so meditation for me was an incredibly powerful practice along with my yoga because it taught me to be still. The goal isn't to have your thoughts ordered, it's to leave that mind empty, to empty the vessel, right? And when that happens, there's a level of calm that comes along with it that you can carry with you throughout your day. So I want you to think about how you could incorporate meditation now. You can find so much peace and solace in it, even in the middle of a wild storm. It's going to allow your thoughts to flow without judgment, because that's one of the most critical aspects of meditation, right? Is while we're supposed to be an empty vessel, when a thought comes to you, the goal is not to say, oh goodness, I can't believe I just had a serious thought. You recognize it and then you release it. And that's what we really need to do as much as possible with grief, especially as we start to get into the later stages of it. We talked about how initially the stages of grief are really just about surviving. But as we move on, and there is no timeline for that, meditation can be an incredible tool to help you in your journey to healing. The next thing I'm going to recommend is restful sleep. We even have an entire class on sleep with my health and wellness business. And in your healthy home, to me, the first thing I ask clients is, how are you sleeping? Often I'll find that their underlying illnesses are being exacerbated by a lack of sleep. Maybe it's your lifestyle right now, in which case it's going to be tough, right? If you have a newborn, I'm not wondering why you're not getting 8 hours of sleep. That's a season. But a lot of the times I find that older people will say, well, I just don't sleep anymore. And we can address that. There are a lot of tools that are natural that we can use to help you. One of the incredible things that you can do while you're asleep is that a new study has just been released indicating that use of essential oils at night for 2 hours for a period of 6 months increased cognition by 226% in participants that were using specific oils. If you're interested in more information about that, I'm happy to share it with you. I've got a great blog on that. But that's one of the things that we want to be doing, because I think in grief, thinking becomes almost impossible. It feels like you're swimming through mud, right? Especially in the early stages when you have a sudden loss. And so the ability to try to help make sure that you have a strong sleep routine, you have a sleep station, you have sleep habits, right? You get ready for sleep in advance. There's so many things that you can do that are absolutely free that will completely help you sleep better. And really, a lot of what sleep is about is what not to do, right? We all want to be on our phones until the very last second we fall asleep. That's not good for you. It's part of why you're not sleeping well. We all want to sit and eat a late night snack because we deserve a treat. That's part of why you're not sleeping. Your blood sugar is going up and down too much, right? So there are things that we can do to shift our habits. But when you are in grief, if you are not sleeping, you do not have your best self to come to the table to address the things that you're grieving about. So sleep is going to be essential. Next is going to be gentle exercise. I highly recommend yoga. And again, let's go to YouTube for this. There are millions of YouTube videos and some really expert yogis that share gentle exercise. And even if you need to sit in a chair to do these yoga exercises, just moving your body is going to help you release stress, tension, toxins. It's going to help you feel more yourself. In fact, it may make you feel even better. I know walking a mile a day makes a huge difference in my life. It was recommended by my doctor, and it has changed everything for me. And so adding some weights now is going to be really important as I get older, weight-bearing exercises, right? But exercise used to be seen by me as a chore. I used to think, well, why would I exercise? I haven't done anything wrong. I don't deserve it. But what I've learned from my mentors and my friends that love exercise is it's a treat for our bodies. It is a way to release our stress. It is a way to focus on ourselves. And that's why I recommend gentle exercise here. Now, if you're a runner and you stopped running in your grief, I would invite you to start walking. Maybe you're not ready to run yet, but I want you to get back to your routines to the extent that you can. It's really important if a previous habit gave you great joy that we find a way to reconnect you with that habit. Next is to express yourself through journaling. And this can be very intimidating if you're not a writer. If you're more comfortable on a computer, do it on a computer. But if you can grab a paper journal and just start writing down free flowing stream of consciousness, I can't believe this happened. I hate that this happened. However you want to say it, it's just for you. But it's a way to kind of get things down and out. When we're holding everything down, we're not processing what we're going through, right? We're just trying to keep a happy face. And I've learned over the years that is so toxic. I used to always say, everything's okay. It doesn't matter. We'll all be fine. Everything's fine. It wasn't fine. And if you're grieving, it's not fine. And it's okay to not be okay. And journaling can kind of help you get to some of the roots of what you're struggling with. I had a friend recently say she didn't even know how to put gas in her car when her husband passed away. And it was just devastating. She went to the gas pump, realized she needed gas in her car, and it was just the worst moment. Journal that, right? Whatever it is that you're going through, journal it. And then last but not least, I always recommend aromatherapy for comfort. There are specific protocols for trauma and for grief that can truly be helpful. There's an oil called Joy, for goodness sake. There's an oil called Trauma Life. And these are actually engineered to try to impact our emotions in a positive way. I love an oil called White Angelica. I might even have it right here, knowing me. It's probably in this drawer. And it's to release negative intentions, energy. And I use it when I'm being negative to myself, right? When I'm being frustrated with myself or negative to myself, or I know I'm going into a difficult situation. White Angelica might be perfect for when you're just feeling low. But when we do things and leverage tools like sleep and aromatherapy, it really is also just important that we've taken these actions to take care of ourselves in the midst of our grief. And if you're just doing that, that's enough today, right? So I'm sending you so much love, especially if you're grieving a loved one tonight or loss of any kind that impacts your heart. And I'm sending you lots of love while you're doing it. You're not alone. You're never alone. You're always welcome here. And I love you guys so much. I can't wait to see you back here Monday, live around 5. Have an amazing weekend, everybody.